Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for tuning in here. I know it's been a brief moment since I've done one of these, but to be honest, I actually just needed to wait to get some stuff to be able to review. So found this guy at Target the other day, decided to grab him. So today we're going to go ahead and be taking a look at the Transformers Studio series Starscream as seen in the Bumblebee movie for a brief moment. So to be totally honest, I was really kind of hesitant on whether or not I was going to get this toy at all. I think he looked neat. I think he looks nice. But I just didn't know if I $30 wanted him, because of the retail and all that. So I ended up seeing him at Target for like 26 bucks and I was like, you know what? Might as well, because he actually looks really interesting in person. I don't know what it is, but he kind of just reached out to me. He's so weird. I just kind of needed to get it. So we're going to go ahead and get him compared later to see how he scales up with Blitzwing and other Starscream figures. But I'm going to go ahead and start this off with his detail because, oof. He is ugly as hell. Now, I do not mean to say that he is poorly sculpted or anything. I just mean to say that the design for the Bumblebee movie Starscream is just... It's like handsome Squidward, fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. He's got this huge bulbous nose. His lips are just ready to start spitting. I don't know. He looks really scrunched. He looks really pissed off. I don't really know what they did. I think it is well sculpted. I just think he's ugly, and I think that makes him really endearing, I guess. He's got really nice sculpted detail in the shoulder things back here, because he gives off that silhouette of G1-ish Starscream in a live-action movie, and I think it's just kind of weird. This is a movie Starscream meant to look like G1 Starscream, or at least the G1 Seeker that also turns into a Tetrajet. It's just, there's a lot that goes into this that it just kind of played into me having to pick it up. It's just so interesting. His wing sculpt back here just kind of gives off the impression of his G1 wings, and you can straighten these out or whatever and just have them hang out like that. But I think that's super boring. The way they curl up and just kind of it looks active and functional, really just pops, with that sculpt back there. And honestly, the colors back here really remind me of G1 Starscream, and I don't know why. They kind of remind me of Armada Starscream because it's kind of like a darker grayish tan the way it reflects in my light box, and this shade of red is very specific. So I don't know, I just get a lot of Starscream out of this, even though he's just uglier than sin. Oh my god. He does come with a gun right here, so this gun is kind of a redo of the Blitzwing gun. It's not the exact same, but it is a little bit similar just in the way it's shaped and everything. But I don't really find this gun, it's not bad, but I don't find it very functional. He's got these very, very nicely sculpted hands down here that have 5mm ports in them, so you can just plug it on there. But the way the hands sit and how short the post is for the 5mm port, it just kind of it's a little lopsided. It's pointed a little bit down. It makes it a little awkward. And I don't know, and it doesn't fit all that well. And the way the hands are sculpted is so nice. I kind of just like to have him pose there without dealing with it. So I think this gun is cool. The thing is, you can't really just toss this aside. It's kind of integral for the vehicle mode. So yeah, I think it's fine and all that. I wish I had a place to plug in, maybe on the arm or the under part of the arm. The one thing I wish you could do, what I thought was the case, was that you fold the arm in and plug it in there. But again, that post isn't very long and it's just a little cockeyed. So I think that would be perfect, but it just isn't quite long enough. So sorry, Starscream, you're just a little short there, buddy. And he does come with these, I don't know if they're null rays specifically, but he does come with these little blasters here. They're really just meant for the Tetrajet mode. Either of them pop off. They have 5mm ports here and little clips for the Tetrajet mode. So, he can hold these, absolutely, I'm sure. I don't know, yeah. So if you just want to give him normal guns, sure, but I think they just look kind of cool. It makes the design very crazy, very busy for them to just hang out on the wing. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave them just like that. And for Screamer's articulation here, his head is on a ball joint. It really doesn't go up at all. It just, you can kind of nudge a little bit. It doesn't really go down, but it does rotate 360 degrees. His arms are on hinges. They're going to rotate. They have the ability to rotate 360, but they can't because of the wing back here. They go in and out that much at a hinge. They're going to rotate 360 at the bicep. They go in and... well, they go up pretty much that much at the elbow there, and then his hands, because of the transformation, they kind of pivot inward. It's not really articulation, but you can get movement out of it. His waist, this red piece doesn't move, but the piece behind it is separate, and this is how the waist moves. So it's kind of meant to make that cog piece look the same all the time. I think that's neat. Don't really know why they did it, but I think it's interesting. So his waist can wiggle to the side a little bit. His legs here at the hips, they're going to go forward and they're going to go backward that much on these hinges. They're going to go in and outward that much. He can do a pretty good split. Rotate at the waist, or at the waist, at the thigh right here with this big old piece, but they're going to get knocked so they can't do 360. Knees bend that much, and his feet here can pivot in and out, and I think Yeah, they can't really go forward, but they can pivot back a little bit because of the transformation to get some stance out of him. But can't go left and right. He has a lot of good articulation. I want to say I hope that there's a way I can kind of free up the head articulation, because some of his stances, you know, in the movie he kind of had this hunch to him. I'd kind of like to give it so where his head can kind of look up a little bit easier instead of having to force it kind of like this. But you can get some really nice looks out of him. You can really kind of display him however you want. The CGI model, you really only saw him on screen for a moment, so I mean, do as you want. It's yours. Now, I did want to get a look at Starscream here with some other Starscreams, because I just do kind of think it's kind of crazy that this figure exists in the first place. We started in 2007 with the gangly, you know, bird-looking star-shaped Starscream with live action that was kind of meant to emulate the G1 boxy-looking Starscream, and it didn't at all. But now, all these years later, 10 years later, we have this. And yeah, I just think it's kind of crazy. We have an actual busy live-action designed Starscream, and I don't really know what to say about it specifically, other than I think it's kind of crazy that we finally met in the middle with this. And yeah, I hope people that wanted something like this are happy. I like all these kind of Starscreams. I think they all look wacky and cool. So yeah, there's this frame up, because it's just kind of crazy it exists. And here is Starscream with the Siege Starscream, the Tetrajet Classic Starscream, and Blitzwing from the Bumblebee movie. So here you can kind of see how the molds are different. You know, all of these designs are meant to emulate the same, but all of the parts are incredibly different. These little piston things, they fold up on him. These are just their own little bits on him. The legs are entirely different. It's sculpted and meant to emulate the same exact shape and look, basically, but is entirely different. And I just think it's really, really fun. And that's, again, another reason I bought this Starscream, is because I really, really liked the Bumblebee movie Blitzwing. So if they were able to take that design, do something different with it, I was really curious. And again, it's just the weirdest Starscream I've ever owned. And then here he is with the Tetrajet Starscream. And honestly, I have these three together because I'm pretty sure the design process of this figure went something like,
"Hey,
Yeah?
what the hell is this?"
so yeah, I felt it was pretty relevant to get all these three together. So there's them. Starscream here does have a transformation. It's a little interesting because the alt mode, again, is just so freaking weird. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And here we have Starscream in his Tetrajet mode, I suppose. Oh man, this is okay. So I understand that this is how the Tetrajet looks in the movie. This is basically it. They did a really good job of turning this into a toy version of it, and I don't think it's bad at all. I just, again, I can't like overstate how goofy I think this is, and I don't think that's bad or anything. I think that helps make this toy really endearing. So the only other figure I could think of to bring in here with him is the original Tetrajet from a couple years ago from the Siege line. And so you have your G1 Tetrajet and your movie Tetrajet, and this is just wild. You know, like they look so silly. This one, I don't want to say, you know, perfect or anything, but he's not perfect because they kind of like took off the fin on the top and all that. But they look really fun together. I always wanted Tetrajet Seekers, at least one of them or something. So when we finally got the Siege version of it, I was really excited. And to have a movie version of it that, again, is just this wild, gigantic thing. Like, this has to be the most unaerodynamic thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm no aviation specialist at all, but like, this can't fly. This cannot be capable. I don't know. This is so goofy. I'm in love with it. Now again, this really does look like the Tetrajet from the Bumblebee movie. I really am impressed in how they kind of took the Blitzwing figure skeleton, or the design, not really the figure itself, but the design of that figure, and turned it into something completely different in function. I think this is really, really cool. This nose cone is obviously super soft rubber, by the way. It looks really dangerous, like it'll kill you. It's a little pointy, but no, it won't. You can't stab a man with it, I don't think. I mean, if you could stab anybody with anything, I guess. And he's got all the guns down here. Like, the way the arms kind of fold up too, it just kind of, it just works. I hate to Todd Howard it, but it just works. You just gotta remember to fold the head out back there. If you leave the face, it's just kind of sticking out the back there. I think it's kind of like terrifying, but I don't know. I think this Tetrajet is very goofy, and it's oddly solid. It's not really, it doesn't feel like it's gonna fall apart. These little pieces up here you have to finesse a little bit, but they actually do lock in. And I don't know, man. I think it's really neat. I think it's goofy, and it's a figure only a mother could love. And that is pretty much all I've got to say here about my goofy man Starscream. If you guys have any questions about him, maybe something I did not cover in the video specifically, please feel free to leave a comment in the section down below. I'd be happy to get back to you as soon as possible. Please like this video if you enjoyed this content, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.